Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello everyone, welcome back again to the NPTEL online certification course on research methodology for planning and architectural studies. In last lecture, we have discussed about the application of big data in planning and architectural studies, and there also discussed different advantages and disadvantages, rather the challenges with the big data analysis, where in one side it is having so much of advantages where with the minimum effort, with some sort of systematic data collection through different electronic devices, the mobile phone data, different check-in data, you can do excellent research. You can get access to huge amount of data in short duration, which can also help you to make certain decision. Now for that particular big data and all, many a times, like if you go with the manual analysis, or maybe you can just go for a traditional analysis, it will take time. You need some good computational technique, and when you integrate with certain sort of artificial intelligence driven software or certain methodology algorithm, it will be much more effective. So in today's time, when we talk about the artificial intelligence, maybe all of us, we know about those platforms like different chatbots like GPT. You have different product from Google, Microsoft, like Copilot, Gemini, etc., where we can use it for different activity, making certain sort of effective daily plan or getting some sort of answers. And it has multiple application. Even we are creating some hyper realistic images through certain application of AI. Now it has application in multiple discipline, whether like you are making a coding for in any website development or any product development, you can use those kind of algorithm by which you can get certain sort of information, and it is evolving, and maybe in future we'll get much more advanced model to it. Now when you talk about the research in architecture and planning, again here there are certain scope where we can use the AI, the artificial intelligence, in making the research much more effective and also efficient. So with that background, today at lecture number 58, we'll be talking about the role of artificial intelligence in architecture and planning studies, and we'll discuss the very basics of this particular topic in this lecture. Because with the limited time for this lecture, we cannot go into depth because it has multiple aspects. There are certain applications, there are certain algorithm. If you are interested, you can further research on it. You can go through different sort of web content. There are certain study material, research papers available where people have used it, but I'll give very basic idea which can help you to figure out certain aspect how we can use the AI in our planning and architectural research. So out of this particular lecture, what we are going to learn, we'll just try to understand about artificial intelligence, different subcategories of AI, application of AI in planning and architecture. We'll see different application. Then AI in architecture and planning will look into different examples, benefits of AI in planning and architecture, and also we'll discuss about different challenges of AI in planning and architectural field. Now what is artificial intelligence? As per Artut 2009, artificial intelligence is the broad category for the technology that enables a computing system with a non-biological structure to demonstrate all of the cognitive capacities of logic, self-awareness, comprehension, reasoning, problem solving and creativity. Now, whenever we say that the intelligence, that as a human being we have, that we can think, we can provide logic to certain aspects, certain phenomena, we can find out the reason, even through that we can make certain sort of creative design to solve the human needs. Now, compared to a human interface or human involvement, if you develop something which is non biological structure and you just train that particular system, that overall technology or the application about making such kind of decision based on logic, self awareness, comprehension, reasoning, problem solving, so that is the artificial intelligence. So it is look like giving a scenario, as a human if I take a call logically, so this system can also, like in spite of having a non biological structure, can able to make that decision. So it needs lots of training to that particular system, so that in different scenario how one can respond. So as human, whenever we develop such kind of algorithm, we have to be careful that there might be some of the scenarios that we are not experienced with. So provided in those scenarios how the system will react is certain sort of challenges. Coming to the subcategories of artificial intelligence, expert system. Expert system are intelligent computer systems that provide solution to a given problem at expert level, and also it is known as decision support system. Next we have the machine learning. Machine learning is a field of study that seeks to comprehend and build methods that allow artificial intelligence to iteratively use the data to improve the performance of a specific task. When there is some sort of decision making, a repetitive task, so machine learning can help the system and AI to take that call in the right direction. Next we have generative algorithms. A generative algorithm classifies data by its production that enables rapid development of new ideas. So whenever you give certain sort of comment, certain sort of input, based on that input it will create different iterative design. It will generate certain sort of options, and then you can look into that, and then user or researcher, in case if you are using it, you will take a call on the best option. Next we have the evolutionary algorithm, population based meta heuristic optimization technique. It is some sort of evolution in the algorithm that uses the evolutionary inspired mechanism, including reproduction, mutation, recombination and selection of the best alternative. Now coming to the next one is deep learning, that employs multiple processing layers to gradually extract higher level data features using artificial neural network ANN, that helps in data representation rather than specialized problem solving. So in deep learning you can have a better representation of the data. Multi-objective optimization is another aspect of this artificial intelligence, where multiple objective optimization provides concurrent, conflict free resolution of competing object. Now application of AI in planning and architecture, there are multiple applications. So let us just discuss few of them which is very pertinent and I have come across in recent times. One of them is definitely the generative design. With the help of AI, one can generate multiple design alternatives based on certain criteria such as cost and energy efficiency, and then you can evaluate the options. Now in normal way or maybe in a traditional way, whenever you make a design and we try to make a changes based on optimizing the cost or the efficiency, we have very limited options, or within a given time we can only produce some sort of output and then we again rethink. But if you train our algorithm that okay, these are the different objective functions and these are the constant, and you do some sort of optimization through this, like it can produce some sort of alternative design and you take a call on which design to be selected for further consideration. Next, we have the parametric modeling, where AI driven model allows flexible and adaptable design, and also it will help in adjusting parameters very easily. So, it is not like you change each and every lines of your drawing, it is like the parameters. So, if you want to change the facade of the building or maybe it's some circulation, so there are certain sort of control parameter by which you can just change. So, this parametric design can also be one of the useful application in the field of architecture and planning. Next, we can also do the performance analysis. AI tools simulate and analyze building performance for sustainability and efficiency, where different sort of environment we can create, and in a given set of criteria about the orientation, about the sun path, locations, altitude, different wind property, material property, then even you can go ahead with certain sort of indoor thermal comfort. So, you can do all those analysis by some AI tool. Data analysis in urban planning. AI processes large data set to inform infrastructure development and policy making, where in the previous lecture we have discussed about big data. If you can successfully apply the AI algorithm to this, it can give you a better decision making idea, or it can help you to take a call on what could be the strategy to mitigate certain problems, or to help you out how you make those kind of planning which can satisfy the need of urban people or the regional context, all the users that in that particular region. It will also help in predictive modeling. AI predicts future trends in urban growth and transportation demand for sustainable city planning, that we have seen that not only with some sort of existing information, but the main purpose of planning is to also solve the problem in future. So, for all futuristic planning, when you apply those kind of AI driven algorithm, that how changing in land use and land cover can effectively change the overall network, or maybe like by putting certain sort of extensive network of road, how it is going to change in the urban growth. Those kind of simulation you can do with the help of AI. Now, coming to the next point, which is about the smart city solution. Artificial intelligence optimizes the traffic flow, enhances public safety and improves urban services. So, with those kind of smart lighting, or it is some sort of smart system which can detect some of the functions and can help the policymaker, decision maker to come up with the strategy. Virtual assistants and chatbots, this is something very common nowadays. The artificial intelligence assists architect and planner with design exploration and project management tasks. So, whenever you have those kind of chatbots and all, you can also interact in different phases and you can give certain sort of constraint, even you are making certain sort of typical project management Gantt chart and all. So, there you can really make certain alternation if required. Autonomous design system, AI collaborates with architects to explore innovative design possibility independently. So, such kind of collaborative output can be useful. Image recognition and augmented reality, this is something also very helpful in especially for the architectural study and planning study. AI analyzes the site conditions and enables stakeholders to visualize the designs in real world context. So, say for example, I will show you a video where how we can take help of augmented reality to visualize a building, the 3D model of a building. Similarly, if you go to some place, historical place where some of the remains are there, so with the help of augmented reality, you can reconstruct, or virtually you can just complete that particular building, and you can get a sense that how it was before that particular demolition or calamity that happened, that what was the scenario before. So you can recreate those kind of build form with the help of augmented reality and AI. Now coming to the next point, which is on simulation and visualization. So AI driven simulations and VR tools help stakeholder to analyze complex urban scenarios, and also by that it can produce the design efficiency, because in simulation we have discussed several times that how we can create those kind of realistic scenario and then take people's view on it and then improve the scenario, and then finally select the best alternative to be implemented. Now in AI in architecture and planning, so there are certain sort of applications. So performance enhancement, you have energy optimization, that building performance analysis, generating and simulating passive design solutions, automated operation of mechanical openings, decision support system for planning of infrastructure, and real time data driven smart city application. Form finding, in this case definitely the building envelope design that you can do, the orientation, the all the fenestration, the facade design that you can do. You can also do the parametric design, you can also make certain sort of modular architecture and facade design, that how it can react with the environment, whether you go for a static panel or the dynamic panel, whether it will rotate or give certain sort of response to the external environment about those kind of you can say photochromatic, or maybe it is just responding to the direction of sun and inclination, so that it can balance the light and shade in the building. Coming to the spatial programming, the site planning suggestions like optimization of parking layout, building orientation, etc. It also help in building plan solution, mass settlement proposal on an urban scale, spatial land use zoning options. So these are different area. It also help in restoration, so completing the missing part of the structure that I already measured. So if you have those kind of scanner by which you can complete the remaining parts of the remains in a historical site. Transferring the important structures to a digital platform, where we talk about the digital twins. So here you can really do some sort of innovation and you can implement it. Coming to the design tool development, developing an algorithm that solves specific design problem. Now I will show you some of the applications over here. So here you can see that the drawing floor plans, so where you have those kind of options where you can plug and play those kind of furnitures to make the plan, and accordingly it will update you about the overall area and all. Now here it is another example of you can say generative design, where you can see that keeping the staircase and this lift as a constant block, how you can have multiple options where you can change the orientation, where you give certain sort of toilet in one side, then you club them. So for all this design, whenever you use the generative design as a tool, each of them will give you some sort of efficiency, and based on efficiency you can actually freeze the design that you want and you can build it. Here I have shown some of the examples of the parametric design where all are linked. So there are certain basic control parameters by which if you alter one of them, it will get reflected or modified in other parts of the building. So this is another example of making the plan and use of AI in generative design. Now here it is about the furnishing the room, where you can see some of the realistic view how it will look like, So in 3D you can visualize it. Generating images and videos, here also you can make certain sort of realistic rendering. Here you can see that from there you can make an animation of this room. So this is something, even if it is not implemented, we can get a sense. Now if you add some sort of augmented reality to it, the virtual reality into it, put it in the metaverse, so then people can experience, they can put themselves into this particular place and then look around and then visualize. That is definitely is going to improve the user experience and the feedback will be much more effective. This is what I was talking about, the application of augmented reality, how you can present your drawing to the clients or the submission. So in this particular case you can see a typical portfolio where you have all this static view, you have plan, site plan, series of sections, etc. Now this is the QR code for the 3D model. Now with this particular air you can convert it to a detailed realistic model where you can experience the different parts. So let us have a look into this particular small video that I have picked up from YouTube. The link is given, you can get such kind of interesting video there. So here you can see in this particular room, apart from all these drawings and all, now if you rotate, so there is no such kind of physical model available, but it's just the augmented reality that help you to understand this. Now the advantage is that you can also explore this particular model. If you want to look into what is inside, that is also possible, right? Now you can just make those kind of changes, and then you can see that how it is going to look like. Okay. So now in this particular stage, if you want to find out that there are certain points that you want to alter, you can also do it. Now depending on the computational facility and the ability of the designer or the animator, you can produce much more realistic images and all, right? So moving forward, that whenever you just try to make a site plan, so you have certain sort of object to be placed. So in this case object means the building, the build form, and there will be some open space. So generating building layout for maximum efficiency in terms of circulation and parking. Here you can see that okay, by different design how you are getting a different score. So here there are certain sort of measurement like residential unit, the walkability, access to transit, daylight access, construction cost and energy uses. So for each of the design, if you see that design 12, 52, these are different numbers. It keep on iterating depending on the inputs that you give, that whatever is the change in that value, how many units you can accommodate with that height. But whenever you go with that, probably you are losing some sort of advantage in cost, or maybe there are certain issues with that energy uses. So for such kind of cases, definitely it is something is going to help you, and this all happening with the help of this AI, so that in quick time you can get all these alternative, and whenever you find that the score is maximum, okay, because you cannot get everything fulfilled with all this design, so you take the best possible design out of it. Similarly here also I have shown you the different kind of zoning, where you can see that how orientation can play a crucial role. It's not about the shading of the building itself, but how you create the space within those kind of building towers and all, that also play a crucial role. This is something again of similar nature. You can see in this particular image, this is the same site and you have to adjust the mass. So either you go and place all the buildings together, or making just 2 towers and make more open space. So you always get certain sort of alternatives. In such cases, definitely whenever you go for a single block for this particular building, so you get one particular mass and you have more open space. But if you want a horizontal expansion, not the vertical, so you have to cover more land space. So like that, again with a different set of criteria, which particular model that you are going to pick up, that is up to you. Here also you can see in the same plot you can do multiple analyses, where you can get some sort of wind pattern analysis. Then you can also say the thermal heat map. You can also perform this kind of building performance, where you can find out that the portion, or the building which is having the maximum heat, or maybe heat gain in that particular point, and accordingly you can make the changes in the vegetation, or maybe you can change the shape of the building. So this kind of analysis is also possible with the help of AI. Now coming to this generating building layouts for maximum efficiency, here also you can see that how things can move, and you can create those kind of project where in the same plot you can design those kind of multiple options. Okay, and for that AI is going to help you out. You don't need to manually make so many alternatives. Only you need to train your model. You have to give those kind of parameters very effectively, and also you have to give certain sort of relationship between the space. So you have to just make the constraint. Suppose if you don't want the toilet to be placed next to the bedroom, or you want the toilet to be placed next to the bedroom, in either case you have to set that parameter. So whatever is obvious and whatever is not obvious, so depending on that it will create the design, and then based on that it will also give you the efficiency score, or whatever the index that the platform will develop, and then you select the best option. But again in this case, definitely the researcher should take the responsibility to fit those kind of logic and the relationship. Otherwise it can give you a number of solutions, but how to select the best out of it, and even if you fit something wrong by mistake, it can lead to a wrong decision making, which is not only like making the all efforts into like a wrong place, it will also involve that much of cost investment and all. So we have to be very much careful. Now coming to the benefits of AI in planning and architecture application. So efficiency, definitely AI streamline the design process, reduce the time for iterative design, and also enhance the productivity by providing so much of information in quick time. It also help in innovation. AI foster creative exploration and generate novel design solutions where probably we cannot explore manually in that way. Talking about the sustainability, AI enables the optimization of energy uses, material selection, and urban infrastructure planning. So by which it's all depend on what kind of input that we are providing to the model, and then how model is reacting, and finally analyzing and give you the final product. Cost reduction, definitely AI can helps in identifying the cost saving opportunity and optimize the resource allocation, because it is actually giving you the best possible solution if you fit your logic very correctly into that model. So that AI are like driven algorithm are trained with those kind of data set and produce the design that you can do, and effectively it can reduce the manpower and also come up with certain solutions. But the decision finally one has to take, the researcher or the architect and the designer. Now coming to the challenges of AI in planning and architecture. So data quality, ensuring the reliability and accuracy of data, that we also discussed in case of big data. So for AI system you have to give the reliable and accurate data so that it can iterate it accordingly. Ethical consent, this is something very important. Addressing issues of bias, fairness and accountability in AI driven decision making. So whenever a system is taking a decision, so there might be some sort of biases, where maybe as a human we will omit that particular biases, or we can tweak this. So still there is some sort of concern with the ethical part of it. Human AI interaction. So this is the most important aspect of using any AI driven algorithm to create the solution, to apply it in the research activity. It's nothing but understanding the role of human in guiding the AI tool, interpreting the outcome and validating the AI generated design and plans. If we blindly follow the design which are coming out of this particular AI platform, so probably we'll be committing some sort of mistakes. That's why it is very important, whenever we have a tool, it is useful. Like if you just consider that 20-25 years ago, probably there was not much kind of advancement in the graphical interface in the computer. People, they normally use the drafter and all those pens and pencils to create the plans, elevations and all. After that, some kind of computer aided design in forms of AutoCAD came into existence, and then people tried drafting it. Then after a certain time, now there are certain more advancement where we talk about the BIM, where we integrate our design with the material resources, which can give you some sort of other performance measurement. It can help you to produce the bill of quantity. So much of advancement happened over time. Now when we talk about the AI which can help, uh, being a non biological structure, can also give you those kind of decision. So one has to validate that decision, so we need to be careful. So coming to the future of AI in planning and architecture, definitely the AI augmented design is one option, where you can actually integrate the AI into the architectural and planning workflow, and also which can enhance the creativity and efficiency. AI driven smart cities, where this is the emergence of AI driven urban governance and decision making system, where we talk about some decision making on certain lighting system of the city, drainage system, infrastructure management, or maybe it is the real time monitoring of the traffic, the traffic violators. So we can identify through those kind of AI driven thing. Ethical AI, continued effort to address the ethical concern and then ensure the responsible AI deployment in planning. So even if there are issues with the ethical concern, so gradually we have to come up with certain more comprehensive application into the artificial intelligence, and definitely it will be a game changer, and it will help in reducing time, cost, and at the same time it can help us to come up with some innovative design thinking as well. Coming to the summary, we have discussed about artificial intelligence, how a system can think logically, can interpret, comprehend, and also provide the decision. We have discussed about different subcategories of artificial intelligence, where we talked about deep learning, machine learning, generative design, etc. In application of AI in planning and architecture, we have discussed about different application in smart city or building performance, etc. We have also discussed about uh, different algorithm, different platform by which we can perform the building performance, where we can analyze the design, different iterative design, the generative design, how you can change different floor plans and try to see the efficient design within a predetermined set of criteria. We also discussed about the benefit of AI in planning and architecture, like it can help in providing the decision very quickly, it can help in better resource allocation and utilization. Along with that, we also discuss the challenges of this kind of AI driven thing, so that the proper human AI interaction that should place accordingly. So one should take a call on that, whatever the outcome is coming through the AI driven platform, whether it is logical and it is meaningful, so that we will not compromise uh, our cognitive thinking on, or the design thinking just be replaced by AI thinking, because then there would be some limitation in some point of time. So ethical consideration and other part, that how we can use that very effectively. So obviously in future we will go with the trend, and then we can effectively use the AI for such kind of research and innovation in architecture and planning. With that, I stop here. These are further readings that I normally share towards the end of all the lectures. With that, we'll move to our next lecture, where I'll talk about very important programming language and software for research in planning and architecture. Definitely, in this lecture, I may not cover all the software or all the programming language that probably you are using or you intend to use. I'll discuss the most commonly used some platform and how this can help you out to come up with excellent research, right? So with that, I stop here. Thank you for joining. We'll be meeting you soon. Bye bye.